I need to tell you a story. So not yesterday, the day before that, I think, I was sitting with a couple of friends on قهوة الشارع. قهوة في الشارع. Some guy was driving fast beside us, and a couple of dogs was crossing the street, and he ran over a dog. One of the little dogs. It was a big dog and her kids, puppies. And he ran one dog over and killed him, and the dog died in front of us. Now, this is a very traumatic experience. It might be a very traumatic. It has the potential to be a very traumatic experience. And this is not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is each one of me and my friends reacted differently to this event. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Because when you experience something like that, there is an objectively right way that you should feel about what just happened. Or to be more specific, you should feel sadness, you should feel empathy, and you should feel anger. This is the normal human way of dealing with stuff like this. And what I found had happened that I naturally am a very emotional person. So my first reaction to that was, first of all, shock, followed by sadness and anger at the guy who was driving because he wasn't careful enough, which then have become more and more extreme as I've began digesting the situation. And each one of my friends reacted differently, as I said. How? One of them cares very deeply for animals. He was sad as well, which makes sense. But this fella does not really show emotions that much. So he reacted with sadness covered by anger, kinda. Another one had a very pragmatic look on the situation. He just said, okay, this dog unfortunately just died. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, death is natural. I'm very sad for the dog, but we should be used to this. Another one, I might say, has a very difficult time showing emotions. He, of course, was sad for the dog, but he didn't care. And the final one didn't even acknowledge the situation. He was sad, but he didn't say a word to express what he felt. Each one of those gentlemen reacted in a certain way. And the different ways of reacting to this situation reflect on every person's way of thinking. And every person's way of thinking we could trace it back to their childhood. That's what I wanted to tie to the topic that I want to talk about, which is childhood and how childhood affects the way we deal with life. This is probably something that everyone understands. Maybe just the surface level of it. If a person did not react at all to a situation like this, it 100% means that this is not the first time he should have had a certain emotion but didn't feel it. And I'm taking this example because when this way of handling the situation is replicated in something, a major situation, it's then that the consequences of something like that will begin to appear. That's why I'm tying those two things together, because I know this is a minor situation, even though it's a dog dying. This is not minor, I know. But in the grand scheme of things, it is a minor situation. So what does that have to do with dealing with stuff? Because stuff like this show you what someone's way of handling life is. So I would encourage you to imagine yourself in this situation that I just told, and be honest with yourself about how you would actually react, and then try and reflect on what made you react this way, to try and understand what made you the way you are, to understand your childhood and what led you to this way of thinking. Because when you do that, then that unveils like the mystery of your actions. You begin to have a better understanding of yourself. And when you begin to have a better understanding of yourself, you become a better person. You free yourself from the shackles of your trauma. And there is something else that I would like to discuss about this situation. And this is pretty serious stuff. My videos are always kind of silly and stupid, so this is not something normal. But this situation of watching the dog die in front of me, I am not used to this kind of stuff. But it made me think of the genocides happening in Palestine right now. I'm a pro-Palestinian, but I find myself shying away from any news regarding the matter because I'm someone who's disturbed easily. So I don't handle something graphic as what is happening right now. But when I saw this dog dying, I thought to myself, If I'm being disturbed by a dog, what the fuck would happen if I was living in this massacre they're experiencing right now? That's what I wanted to bring your attention to. But I hope I made myself clear. I have a little bit of trouble. I have a little bit of trouble articulating what I want to say. I hope you understood that. I feel pretty buff. Hold on. See you later. Goodbye.